Good morning and welcome to Revenue Growth Live. Daryl Amy here, and I am coming at you 30 minutes early today because at the top of the hour, I'm looking forward to being on Power Lunch Live with Rhett Power. So really excited about that. So I thought we'd come on 30 minutes early today. And so welcome. If you're joining us live, definitely chime in the chat. Love to see you here, answer any questions, make this a dialogue. And if you are watching later, glad you're here as well. Revenue Growth Live is all about helping you grow revenue. You know, all week long, I get to talk with thought leaders. I get to speak at conferences. By the way, huge shout out to the Great America Financial Services Smarketing Conference. I'm looking forward to sharing in one of their sessions later today about ideal clients. I get to talk to people. I get to speak at conferences. I get to read amazing books, one of them which I want to share with you today. And all of that leads to ideas. And so I want to put this together. This live stream is for the purpose of sharing ideas to help your business grow. And if you have a great business, and what I mean by great is you provide meaningful work and you give back to your community, you are someone that I want to help grow. I want to help your business grow because right now it's going to take great businesses to move our economy forward. And so if you have a great business, welcome. We're glad you're here. And my hope is that you will get ideas every episode when we come to you live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, normally at 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. We'll come at you with ideas that you can use to grow your business. As you're tuning in today, speaking of ideas that you can use to grow your business, I had the privilege yesterday of having a conversation with my good friend and podcast co-host for the Selling from the Heart podcast, Larry Levine. We ran a conversation yesterday around, is your sales training broken? Is your sales training broken? And this ended up, I knew this was going to be a good conversation, but it ended up being a fantastic conversation about how critical it is right now that we equip our sales reps for success moving into 2021. It's going to be a pivotal year for many, many businesses, a make or break year for a lot of businesses and salespeople. So how do we ensure that we are equipping our sales team so that they can drive success in the new year? So we put together this webcast yesterday. Is your sales training broken? What to do differently in 2021. It turned into a phenomenal conversation. Fortunately, we hit the record button. So if you go to the link sellingfromtheheart.net/livecast, you can actually access that. I'm going to put that link right here in the chat right now. You can access the recording of that. And I want you to do that. And if you're not in sales, you don't own a company, I want you to share it with somebody that does lead sales at your organization. And I want you to be able to take advantage of the ideas in this conversation because they were incredibly powerful. Huge shout out to my good friend, Larry Levine, and all that he is doing to help salespeople drive success. So check that out, sellingfromtheheart.net/livecast. And while you're there, go ahead and follow sellingfromtheheart.net. I think you're going to find a ton of resources that can really help you grow. So today is going to be a lot of fun. Today, I want to talk about how you make your business exceptional. You know, at the end, when it's all said and done, we all have competition, right? Unless you live in some magical blue ocean all by yourself, we all have some level of competition. So how do you stand out from the competition? Well, I want to introduce this book to you. If you have not seen Jesse Cole's book, Find Your Yellow Tux, How to Be Successful by Standing Out, you need to get a copy. I actually took the opportunity to read this book, and I got to meet Jesse earlier this year, pre-pandemic, when we were all hanging out at the Grow 2020 conference. And I got to meet Jesse, and it was really, really cool. His story is just beautiful. Let me just do my best to sum up his story in 30 seconds or less to just set this up. Jesse actually is a baseball guy. And this is really timely because we're all following the World Series right now. And once again, shout out to my good friend Larry Levine, diehard Dodgers fan. I know it's tied, but we got more games to pull this out. Jesse bought a baseball team. He was a baseball player. He loved baseball. And so when it came time to step into the business world, he thought, I'm going to buy a baseball team. And when he did, he used and it was a failing team, by the way. It was not it wasn't the LA Dodgers. It was a local baseball team that was just doing miserable. So Jesse thought, you know what? I'm going to hire some consultants and I'm going to do the marketing thing. So he did all the things that you would expect a marketing person to do. He got active on social media. He did, advertising, all of the traditional things. And I think it was about a year later, he tells the story at the beginning of the book. He was drowning in debt. It was bad, like sell your house kind of bad. And so from his pit of despair and frustration, he said, what do we need to do differently? And in the middle of all that, he began drawing on some of his favorite people, his thought leaders, his people that had inspired him, like Walt Disney, and Barnum and Bailey's Circus, P.T. Barnum. He said, what could we do to make baseball fun? Baseball, sorry to our baseball fans out there, but by and large, unless you're a diehard baseball fan, it's boring. It's really, really boring. It's a slow game. So what he said was, what could we do to make baseball fun? And what could we do to turn baseball into a show, into something that would be more like in Blue Ocean Strategy, where they talk about Cirque du Soleil, took a dying circus industry and turned it into something really profitable. So that's exactly what Jesse did. He bought a team in Savannah, Georgia. I don't remember what they were named before. No one does, but he renamed them the Savannah Bananas, and it just started from there. And he bought a yellow tuxedo. He renamed his company Fans First Entertainment, and he transformed this team from a struggling team to literally selling out every single game. If you want to buy a ticket to a Savannah Bananas game right now, good luck. They've been sold out forever. Why? Because he made it fun. And this is what I want to talk about today. Your business is boring. Let's just be honest, right? Just like baseball, there may be some people that like your business, but it doesn't matter whether you sell tax services, office equipment, janitorial services, you're an attorney, you sell batteries. It doesn't matter. Your business is probably boring, right? Unless you're doing something incredible, your business is boring, just like baseball. But the good news is business can be fun. Business can be fun. I'm throwing some books up today, but this one goes right hand in hand. Joseph Pine and James Gilmore wrote an article in the Harvard Business Review in the late 90s, and they said, welcome to the experience economy. And they wrote this book, The Experience Economy. I highly recommend this book as well. And it's a very, very thoughtful, strategic book full of ideas on how to recognize that the experience that your company creates is your competitive advantage. And in the introduction to this book, I love this quote. They say, let's see if I can find it. I know it from heart, but it's in here. They say, even the most mundane, boring, lame, not exciting transactions, I added a few more words in there. Even the most boring business transactions, the most mundane of business transactions can be transformed to be an experience. And so this is the theory. This is someone who actually did it. Here we go. So Jesse Cole in Find Your Yellow Tux said, look, first of all, this is going to be fans first. And he asked the question. I love this book because not only did he look at fans first, he said, what are people really buying? In Marketing Myopia, our good friend Theodore Levitt, the father of modern marketing, Harvard Business School professor, he used to hold up the drill bit in his marketing classes and say, People know they don't buy the hole, they buy the drill bit, or they don't buy the drill bit, they buy the hole, right? What Jesse Cole looked at baseball, and he asked himself the question, why are people here? Why would people come to a baseball game? Now, there are a small percentage of baseball fanatics that really cared. However, there was a much larger audience of people that simply wanted to be entertained. And so he asked the question that Theodore Levitt asked every marketing professional. It is this: what business are you in? Great question for you as well. What business are you in, right? If you're in the, we said janitorial services business earlier, you may think you're in the business of sweeping and vacuuming floors and dusting and all that kind of stuff. The business that you're actually in now is creating a safe and sanitized environment for business to move forward. The business that you're in is actually enabling businesses to function in a live environment. That's the business you're in. Just happens you do that through janitorial services. If you are in the office technology business, what business are you in? You may sell printers, you may sell mailing equipment, you may sell any number of services. The business that you're in is actually helping companies stay in business during a remote working environment and do it securely. So what business are you in? And Jesse said, we're in the entertainment business. And I think all of us, if we think about our business and we look at the flow through the entire client experience, we can ask ourselves the question at each stage of the client experience: on the front end, the buyer experience; on the back end, the client experience. What can we do to make the client experience fun and memorable? What can we do to make the client experience fun and memorable? And this is what Jesse talks about in his book. And I reviewed it today. Sorry, clicking and talking at the same time, sometimes a challenge. This is what Jesse talks about in Find Your Yellow Tux. And there was 3 big points that I gathered from this book. And I just want to talk through some of these right in the time we have remaining here in the next 6 or 7 minutes. The first thing that Jesse said is you've got to be different. You've got to be different. Look, your competition, you have competition. We're all doing the same thing. We're all playing from the same playbook. We're all singing the same song. We look alike, we talk alike, we act alike. We do the same thing. The question I have for you is, what can you do to be different? And Jesse says, look, good businesses give customers talking points by doing things different and making them feel good. And I love in this book, by the way, a little bonus on here. He talks in the book about how, as companies, we like to say we provide an exceptional experience that exceeds customer expectations. And he's like, why would you say that? First of all, you just set yourself up for failure. You already promised we're going to exceed your expectations. So when you don't do it, they're disappointed. You set the bar so ridiculously high. The second thing he said was, don't put that in writing, just do it. Exceed their expectations, understand what they expect, and then add something a little extra. For my good friends down in Louisiana, when you go to the restaurant in South Louisiana, you get the lagniappe, right? You get the little extra, the bonus you weren't expecting. What's the bonus? What's the bonus that would make it fun? What is the thing that you're not expecting that would make things memorable? I think of my good friend, Scott McGregor. Scott runs an amazing company called Something New. He's reinvented the recruiting and talent acquisition business. And I remember after a conversation with Scott early on when he was just launching this business, one day I get something in the mail. Scott has sent me a thank you card. He sent me a box with a cigar in it and a box of matches with his logo on it that says, here's to a great new relationship. Just like you do, if someone had a baby, you'd hand him a cigar. And you know what? I thought, that's brilliant. That's fun, right? Just so happened later that day, I was able to smoke the cigar and think great thoughts about Scott. But here it is 10 years later, I'm still telling that story because he took something boring, recruiting and talent acquisition. Sorry, it's boring. And he looked for ways to make it fun and memorable. Just one small example. And I think one of the things that you could do is start to look at each stage of your client experience, all the way from their first encounter with your company, all the way through like when they become a client. And then after they become a client, what are the things that you could do to make that experience exceptional? What could you do to be different? The second thing that I think is a huge takeaway from this book is, and I outlined this in the article, and by the way, I'll share this article right now in the chat so you can access this. It also has links to the book, which you're definitely going to want to get this book. It is an incredible, fun read. Even reading the book is fun. He said that you've got to go from customers to fans, Right now, we think of customers. You may think of customers. Of course, if you read Revenue Growth Engine, I say don't call them customers, call them clients. Customers go to Walmart to buy toothpaste. Clients go to trusted advisors like their attorney or their CPA to get advice. You want clients. You want to earn the right to have client relationships. But Jesse says, look, the predominant mindset in the business world is to maximize returns for personal gain. These kind of businesses these exceptional businesses, or these profit-driven businesses, they ask, how can I make more? When what they should be asking is, how can they make more for others? Whoa, like that is a total mic drop moment right now. Obviously, we all need and want, no business person, sales rep, or marketing professional we're all in business to make money. We know that. That's it. Money's the scorecard, by the way. The more value you add, the more profit you get. So what we shouldn't be focused on making money as much as we're focused on, hey, how can we add more value? How can we make this experience exceptional? And Jesse would add to that, how can we make the experience fun? And that's the last thing I want to talk about, is how can we make everything fun? Business does not have to be boring. And I love what Jesse says here. And this is a quote. It's probably worthy of like taping on your monitor, putting on your desk. Fun isn't an add-on to professionalism. Fun is professionalism. And it's so interesting because we think if we're going to be professional, I'm just going to post that in the comments because it's so good. We think if we're going to be professional, that we've got to be, and this is how I was raised in the business world. My first job, we had casual Fridays. That meant instead of a white starch shirt and tie, you could wear a blue starch shirt and tie underneath your Navy suit, right? We were the epitome of fun. We were like the opposite of fun. We were like stiff starch shirt, uncomfortable business. And it was kind of this assumption that if you're professional, you're like boring. You're boring. However, Jesse would say professional is not boring. Fun is professionalism. And if we can make things differentiated and enjoyable, as Ethan Butte, our friend over at BombBomb, says, if we can rehumanize business, or if we can bring the connection back into business and make it fun, then we've got a great win. We've got a great win here. So, hey, I want to encourage you to go grab a copy of this book. And I said in my Amazon review, and you can see this, when you get a copy of this book, you're going to need like 2 or 3 yellow highlighters, because I think just about every page of this book and has highlights on it, dog-eared and all that stuff. So huge shout out to Jesse for sharing all of these ideas with us. You're going to need a highlighter or 2 with this book. And I mean, it should be a yellow highlighter, I think. So, hey, I want to challenge you. Go take a look at the article and let's have a conversation back and forth. What are some ways that you can make your business fun? What are some ways that you could look at different stages of your client experience and add the fun back into it? So I really appreciate everybody. It's been fun interacting. It has been fun interacting with everyone today. We've got a lot of cool things cooking up right now and a lot of great things to roll out. As I said at the beginning, my commitment to you is to bring together ideas, strategies, new ways of doing things that can help us drive to the future and help us grow revenue successfully. As we wrap up today, check out the Revenue Growth Podcast. I had a very interesting conversation yesterday that was pushed out yesterday with Matt Baglia. Matt Baglia is the CEO of Slick Text. And we all know text messaging in the B2C space. We were talking about how we can use text messaging in the B2B space. So check that out, Revenue Growth Podcast, wherever fine podcasts are sold, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. Or I just put the link in the chat as well. You can go to our podcast page and subscribe. And speaking of subscribe, if you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe link. If you're watching on Facebook, just like the page, and you'll get notifications of Revenue Growth Live coming at you every Tuesday and Thursday. At 12 o'clock noon, at 9 o'clock Pacific. Last but not least, for those of you who like to listen to books rather than flip pages with a highlighter, Revenue Growth Engine is live on Audible. Go to audible.com, search for Revenue Growth Engine, and you can now put me in your ears and all of it. Until next time, though, as we always say, let's get going and let's get growing.